Hello friends, welcome to my channel The Lens India Professional Photography. This is the second video where I will be creating on the Lightroom CC, and this is the series of videos called as Mastering the Lightroom CC. And in the last process, in the first video, we have seen the overview of the Lightroom, where it basically gives you a brief idea about the quick start the Lightroom. And in this second video, I'll be touching upon the topic which is related to the importing the images captured in RAW into the Lightroom, and where we will be looking at the various methodologies which are being followed, and also we will study about the tabs which are available to import the videos or photos in the Lightroom. So without any further ado, let's quickly start with our video today. So when you open the Lightroom, so this is the screen what we will be looking at, and probably there might be a possibility that some of the views what you will be having may differ slightly depending on the settings or the versions of the Lightroom. So I'm using the latest version of the Lightroom. So to start with, there might be some repetitive points which I'll be covering upon with respect to the last video what I have already made. So when we are going to import the images in the Lightroom, so we will have to make sure that our setting is on the module called as a library. We have other different sets of module where develop, map, or slideshows, print, web, etc. When you shift from the library module to the any other module, the shortcut key for the import is not available. So we'll touch upon the methods in that case what we need to do. So this is the first default screen which is available, as I said, and we are in the library module. So if you see at the bottom of this screen above the film strip, you can see the button called as the import button. So this is the first method where we can import our images in the Lightroom. Another method what we can have is, suppose if we go to the top menu items, so in the file, and if you see that there is the import photos and videos, and the shortcut key for this is the Control Shift and I. So this will allow us to basically import the photos and videos in the Lightroom. But if we are planning to import the photos with this shortcut key, if you are searching for this shortcut key, this will be available only in the library module. And now if you shift to develop key, you will see that that import button has vanished. So in that case, suppose if you are in some different modules, so the only option what is available with us is to go in the file, click on the import photos and videos, and or you can use the shortcut keys like Control Shift plus I or Command Shift plus I in case of Mac, and you can go for the source folder. So this is the another view. When you click on that, probably you may get this view, and this is the bare minimum view available to import the images in the Lightroom. So what do we do, suppose if we are getting this type of view? So if you see on the left hand corner at the bottom, there is a downwards triangle which is available. You just click on that, and once you click on that, this will get expanded. So once this screen is popped up, so we will see that there are various options available. We have one panel on the left hand side, we have another panel on the right hand side, and we have some options available on the top of the screen, and we have options available at the bottom of the screen. So let's go through the left hand side panel first. So on the left hand side top, you will see the drives which is getting directly detected by the Lightroom. So now in this case, since my camera card is directly connected to the PC, so Lightroom has detected this card and it is showing on the top. And if this card is not is connected to the PC, probably this will not show up over here, and this will show the default drive which is available. Just below that, when you see the various tabs, so we have a tab called as source, and if we explore this, expand this source tab, you will see there are various options uh, where we have the device, and it allows you to eject the drive or the card reader once the images are imported from the card. Then we have the other drives associated with this PC. We have a C drive, D drive, and at the bottom you will see the E drive, which is the card reader drive, and we have the external drive attached to the PC. So now, since the images are on the card, so it has directly detected the card, and it is by default taking these folders. So to see these images, since the images are in the folder, subfolder, so if you click on this, the images will show in the subfolder. But since now my images are in the root directory, if I click on this, it will start showing the images in the SD card, whatever is available. So now, since we are on the SD card of the camera, so you will see that the images which are appearing here are in the thumbnail pattern, or we can call it as a grid pattern also. And you can see that all the images are having the check marks. So on the strip over here, you can see that there are 15 images which are ready for the import. So if you come to the bottom side of this window, you will see that there are some icons. So we have a grid icon. So this is, as I said, mentioned in my earlier video, if you hit G, it will show you the grid view. If you hit E, it will show you the single image view. So this is the usual pattern what normally we will see in the Lightroom. So we move back to the grid view, and we will hit the E key. On the top, you can see there are various options: copy as DNG, copy, move, and add. So out of these four options, so Lightroom provides us the four options to import the images in four different ways. So let's talk about the first option, that is copy as DNG. So when we are selecting this option, copy as DNG, it has its own advantages and its disadvantages. So DNG is nothing but the digital negative, which is the raw file version created by or designed by the Adobe. This DNG files comparatively are of smaller size as compared to our raw size what normally we get into our camera. So when we are importing as the DNG file, so as I mentioned just now, the advantage is that these are the smaller size files and renders very quickly. So this is one of the advantage. But the disadvantage is that when we are importing these files as a DNG, and when we start editing on these DNGs, so directly the editing starts is basically overwritten on these files. So this is one of the disadvantage. And the another disadvantage is that there is something called as a sidecar. Sidecars are nothing but that whenever we are editing the images, so whatever the data we are writing on the images, or whatever the processing we are doing on the images, so those are copied in the Lightroom catalog as a separate file. And so that whenever we open that file, those are getting again populated on the images and getting applied on the images and showing the edited version of the image. But the main disadvantage because of this, what we can say, as since it is writing on the DNG, whatever the edits we are doing, it is directly getting written on the DNG. So at times it may so happen, if our systems are not reliable, or maybe suddenly when we are while we are doing the editing, the PC shuts down, or when the data is getting written because of some glitch in the PC, some error happens. So the whole uh, edit work will go haywire, and the image will get corrupted. And that is the reason normally many of the people don't follow the practice of copying these images as DNG. But nowadays our PC systems are so reliable that even if someone wants to try this option, can try and test it out. Sorry. Then the second option what is available is the copy. So when we are selecting this option, so it is nothing but copy as it is. So there will be no change in the file. The raw files will be directly getting imported into the Lightroom library, and will sit into library, and the catalog will get created in the Lightroom. So this is the option which is available when we are directly trying to import the images from the camera card when the camera card is connected. So another option to explore the another remaining two options, what we need to do is that one of the methods what we can follow is that what are the images we have in the cards. So we can directly copy those images first on our hard drive on a defined folder or a designated folder. In this case now, for demonstration purpose, I have created a folder called as Mastering the Lightroom CC for making these videos. So these images are already copied over here and on my hard drive. Now, the moment I select the hard drive from the source, now you can see all my four options are enabled. So we have already seen copy as DNG, and this option is also available for us. We also have the option of copy. We also have the option of move, and we also have option of add. So now let's talk about the third option, which is move. Okay, so when we select the move, you can see the screen at the or the panel at the right hand side has changed. And if you see from the top panel on the right hand side, so you have options. So it is asking where to move. Okay, so it will give you the options like desktop or maybe a my picture folder, my video folder, or some other destinations. So when you click on the other destinations, it will ask you where you want to store your files. But of course, this is a very quick method to basically copy your images to some other folders, and not really recommended or usually a best practice method to do so. So we will further go to the below tabs which are available. So here we have something like file handling tab, and in this you can see there are various options which are available. So the first one is the build preview. So as I mentioned in my very first video about the quick start of the Lightroom or the overview of the Lightroom. So we have four options, that is the minimal, embedded and sidecar, standard and one-to-one. So when we are selecting the option like minimal, so this is the option which will basically consume less disk space, and it will allow you the thumbnails to view quickly. But when you want to render these images, it will take little bit longer time than the rest of the options. So this is the option which will be taking the longest time to render the image. Then next is the embedded sidecar. So this will be taking a little bit more space, disk space, than the minimal option. Again, as compared to the minimal, the rendering will be a bit faster because the size has already been increased. The next is the standard, and the last one is 1:1. So 1:1 will be the option which will consume maximum space, and it will render quickly because it is already having a preview which is at the acceptable level. But for all said and done, we would continue to keep the option as standards, because what happens is that if we are using the Lightroom or maybe options like Photoshop, so the Adobe recommends that you should have 16 GB RAM to process, and if you are trying to increase this build previews, so the processing time will increase. So as of now, so we will keep this build previews at standard. Then if we come to the next option, this is the build smart previews. So if we click on this option, right now this is the disabled option. So build smart previews means what? So normally our systems may have some external hard drives which are connected, and in that hard drives we might have stored the images. So if we have already images in our Lightroom, so probably the Lightroom will keep on continuing the reading the images through the our external hard drive. But at times it may so happen that we may not have to connect the hard drives. And suppose if we are carrying the laptops or something like that. So if we click on these options, So what will happen is that the images will directly come and sit in our Lightroom as the images, and it will consume the original hard drives which are available in your system. So this is the build smart preview option which is available. So we can use, suppose if you are traveling a lot, if you want to carry those images and post process only few images, this option works best. But usually since we are using the desktop systems, so I normally prefer to keep it disabled. Then the second option what is available is don't import the suspected duplicates. Suppose if you are using multiple images, if you are storing all your images in one folder, or if your camera card is already having multiple images and you have already imported some images, and there is the addition of new images. So by if this option is check marked, then the Lightroom will automatically detect that, oh yes, the first few images were already imported, so no need to import them, and you will see that some of the images get disabled from the import automatically. Then the third option what we have is make a second copy. So if you many people have the habit to create a backup. So when we are importing the images from the camera card or maybe from your hard drives, so if you click on this, and if you click on the small triangle which is available, so it will allow you to select the folder where we would like to select the destination and create the backup of these raw files. So this is the option which is available if you really are willing to create the backup of the files as a second copy. But usually I already have the backup created, so I keep this option as disabled. Then the last option available in the file handling is the add to collections. Now this is one of the very beautiful feature of the Lightroom, what we can say, and add to collection. When we are importing the image, you can select this option and uh, create a collection of the images in the Lightroom itself. So that collection means particularly, for example, if you are a wildlife photographer, okay, so if you only want to have the collection of the tigers in one folder, so it will create a virtual folder in the Lightroom where all the images of the tigers will go and sit into that collection, whatever we have named. But usually, when we are importing the images, as far as my process flow is concerned, I am not really creating the collections while I'm importing the images. So we will have a separate video on this where I will explain how to create the collection so that your life becomes easy to see all the images at one place. So this was about the file handling. Then next is about the file renaming. So if you are willing to rename your files when you are importing it in the Lightroom, you have that option available. You can import the files with the name the way you want. We have already some presets over here. For example, the custom name X of Y. For example, if you have the images like this is one of the national parks, so and if this is having 15 images, so automatically you can add the name of the national park, the first image of the 15th image. This way, the naming will be done to all the files. So there are various options available. You can also create your own preset over here. So if you click on the edit and if you for example, if you don't want this shoot name, or if you want to go for something different, you just can delete this, and you can also, when you if you want to create your own preset with this type of pattern, then you can just save the current preset and you can name the preset, and the window will pop up. You can say, for example, I'm just creating, this is a demo LR preset, and I can just create this preset, and once it is done, you can hit the button of the done, and if you again come to this templates, you will see the name demo LR which we have just created. And suppose if you don't want this preset anymore, whatever you have created, again you can go to the edit, and once you go to the customs, you have two options: either delete this preset, or you can even restore the default presets. So if you, for example, if you hit the restore default presets, hit done, and if you go here, so if you have already messed up anything over here, it will reset. If you have, if you really want to delete this, you just select this and you delete the preset from here itself. So you can, once you delete this, it is gone from here. Okay, so this is the way where you can create your own naming presets while you are importing images in the Lightroom. If you don't want to do anything, you just disable this if you don't want to rename the files. About the extensions, how you want the extensions. So now extensions, what I mean is that now since these are the Nikon files, so it is showing you the extension of any F. So whether you want in the lowercase, you want in the uppercase, or you want to leave as it is. So I will prefer to select it as it is. But now since I will be disabling this option, this leave as is or something really doesn't matter over here. So this was about the file renaming methodology. Then apply during the import. So when we are trying to import the files to the Lightroom, we have, as I have already covered this topic in the first video of applying the develop settings. So these are nothing but the presets what we would like to apply when we are importing our images in the Lightroom. So if you select any of the presets, whatever the processing algorithm is there, that will get applied to all your images when you are importing to the Lightroom. But if you are really willing to customize the editing for each image separately, then it is recommended that you should select this option as none. Then the second option available is the metadata. So metadata again is something where you can add on the information which needs to be attached with the EXIF data of your image. So same way, you have option to create and edit the new presets. So already, suppose if you go into the test, you will see that some of the presets like copyright information and all those things I have already created. And if I want to delete this, I can delete this preset in the same way and hit the done, so that you don't see anything over here. So this is about the creating the presets in the metadata. So, but the presets normally what we need to apply during the import, I normally don't create from here. I have already a preset which is I can always create a preset with some other options, but this is also one of the options which is available with us. Then the next available option to us is to add the keywords. So adding the keywords is one of the very beautiful function of the provided by the Lightroom to all of us. So we can add the keywords. Suppose if you want to search any of the images, for example, you are the wildlife photographer or you are the wedding photographer per se, and if you want to search the images of particular XYZ couple, then you can add the name of those couples so that searching the image becomes easy. Or if you want to also add your name or some other artist name or anything the way you want to customize it, you can customize it. So how do we add the keywords? That has been already covered in the first video, but still I would like to again quickly show here. You just need to key in that for this is example, this is the wildlife image, and probably if I would like to add that this was shot in 2021, I can add this the year where in which I had shot. But no, you can customize the keywords the way you want, and you can make the files ready for the import. Then the next is the destination. So if you are using the copy as DNG or move copy, move, add. So add, when you do add function will not show you this functionality of the Lightroom. But when you are choosing the move option, so the Lightroom will always ask you where you would like to store your images. So on which drive, which location you would like to store your images. Now, for example, if I select this D drive and I want to create one more folder over here, I can create a folder on this WIP. I have a folder where I'm still editing those images called as the WIP, that is the work in progress. This is the workflow what I follow. So what I can do over here is that after selecting the folder, I can directly make my files getting add in that particular folder. So this is one option which is available, and it will also ask you, suppose if you want to create any additional folder, if you see that there is no folder which is created over here, so where you would like to add. So click on the imports of folders. So in under the main folder of the WIP, suppose if I am creating the folder like 01.demo. This will organize in a way that, okay, in WIP folder there is will create a folder like 01.demo into one folder, and then you can import those files in that particular folder. You also have the option by original folder by date. Suppose if I am creating this demo file and it will create by date, okay, right? So this images were created in 2021 on 15th of December. So it will create a folder automatically and it will give the name automatically when we would like to import this. So this is the way of importing the images to and moving the images to the different folder. So we have already covered this grid and loop view, and if you want to check all the images, you just hit all the images, check all the images will get check mark. If you want to uncheck anything, you just hit the uncheck, all the images will get unchecked. So since we are willing to import all the images, so we will select this option as check all. Then we have something called as sort. So how do we want to sort our images? How we would like to see the images? Now, if you want to see the images based on the capture time, you select the capture time, and then you have the ascending and descending order. So if you hit this, you will see the sequence is getting changed. Same way, check by state. Since everything is the same, it is not changing even if the ascending descending functionality is selected. By file name, again you can see the sequence is getting changed. File type, since we have only one file type, that is a raw file, there is no change going to be seen over here. So usually I select by file name, so it becomes easy for me to see the images, and I always keep it in the ascending order. And this is the thumbnail, where you can change the size of the thumbnail the way you want. If you want to make it bigger, slide it to right. If you want to make it smaller, slide it to left. So this is all about the panels and the functionalities which are available. So now we have already created a folder, destination folder, where we would like to move the images. Suppose if you move this functionality, use this move functionality, and if I hit the import, you'll see that the folder is getting created on my hard drive and the images are getting copied. Just for demonstration purpose, I'll show you this. And if I go to the folder on my D drive where WIP folder is there, and now you will see that there is a demo folder, and you will see that the files are getting imported in this folder, right? So now they are actually on my hard drive, right? So still they are getting imported on the drive. So you see that once they are getting imported, there will be a progress bar. Now since already the file got imported, now it is building a preview in the Lightroom. So once this preview is completed, this this bar will vanish. Okay. Now suppose if I again want to go and import the new folder, just for demonstration purpose, I would like to show you. I will hit the import again, and I will go back to the folder where we have already created we have already imported the photos just now. So if I go here and if I click the folder, so now since we have selected the option move and we have selected the option demo, now the Lightroom images from this mastering LRCC has been moved to this folder called as demo. Okay, so I'll just click on this folder, and you will see that these images are already over here. Now suppose if I want to import this image again, okay, now you see that everything is grayed out. The reason why this is grayed out is because we have selected the option that don't import the suspected duplicates. Now all these 15 files have been already imported in the Lightroom, and that is why it is not allowing us to import the file again. The moment I'll disable it next time, all the images will get enabled. Fine. So this is how the Lightroom basically uh, uh, gives us the indication that the files cannot be imported again because they are already imported. And now once the files are imported in the Lightroom, you will see that all the images are here in the film strip. And once they are in the film strip, so we can start developing the images based on our requirement one by one. So we can, by just by moving the cursor left and right, we can select the images and we can open the images what we want to see. So perfect. So this is all about the importing of the images in Lightroom. I hope you got the detailed insight about the this process. In our next video, before we start developing any images or start editing the images, now you can see that there are multiple images which we have already shot, and probably we need to select the best and organize our images by looking at all the images, which one is the good, which one is the best, and which one is the worst. Because we may, while shooting, we may land up making some mistakes. So we need to properly organize our images so that we pick up only those images which are really required to be processed. So this process is called as cull and organizing of the images. And so stay tuned for the next video. And I thank you all of you for watching this video. And if you have not subscribed this video, I request you to subscribe this video and hit the bell icon so that you will be getting the notification whenever the video is released. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.